Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had crickets, E-I-E-I-O. Well, here's why that isn't such a bad idea. The Industrial Revolution, the invention of electricity, the first transatlantic flight, each have marked a turning point in human history, shaping the way we live today. But unfortunately, these same advancements have since led to our demise. According to the United Nations, human activity is producing greenhouse gas emissions at a record high, with no signs of slowing down. Nowadays, pretty much everything we do produces greenhouse gases. On average, a car emits 400 grams of carbon dioxide per mile, and boiling a kettle just once produces around 5 grams of greenhouse gas emissions from its energy consumption alone. Now, to say to stop using electricity for the sake of our planet is an unrealistic feat. Hypocritical even, especially if you consider the many days where I've had my 6th coffee by noon. But it's time we realize that we need a new approach. We are in a crisis for climate change, food insecurity, and the declining well-being of both humans and animals. This is a threat to the One Health system, a multidisciplinary approach to optimizing human, animal, and environmental health so we can continue calling Earth a safe and a happy home. Now, how may we do this, you may ask? Insects. Now, stay in your seats. Those who are scared of insects may want to run out of that fire exit door. And as you heard a few years ago, I wouldn't have blamed you. But I want you to think on insects for a moment. I want you to pause and really think about the word insect. What comes to mind? For some, you may be reminiscent of following that rogue ladybird around your childhood back garden. And others may feel unease, fear perhaps. But today, I challenge you to think of insects in a different way, a sustainable way. But first, let me explain how I got here. A few years ago, I was a zookeeper. After COVID-19, I noticed a real decline in the quality of animal feed. And then I noticed a real decline in my own personal habits. I would spend all day promoting animal nutrition with the resources we had, and then I would return home to feed myself a microwave meal. It wasn't until one day when I was stood feeding crickets to my chameleon friend when I paused and really thought about what I was holding in my hand. This insect holds enough nutrients to sustain life. This eventually led me to Belfast to pursue research in this field. So, I don't know about you, but when I first thought of insects as food and feed, I was reminded of yet another nursery I'm sure many of you know well. There once was an old lady who swallowed a fly. I don't know why she swallowed a fly. Perhaps she'll die. Well, I have a slight problem with this. For you see, the lady will not die, but instead join 2 billion people who eat insects every day. A practice named entomophagy, which is well rooted in many cultures, especially in Asian, African, and South American countries, where more than 300 species can be eaten in some local areas. Europe, however, is yet to adapt. But why should we adapt? Why should we change our habits now? Well, we won't be changing our habits, but instead going back thousands of years. Insects are a natural part of the human diet and can be incorporated into our food in many ways, as whole insects, as protein powders, as oils. The options are limitless, even for you picky eaters. But what is it that makes insects so attractive to the One Health system? Well, firstly, environmental health. Insects are very small and only require a little bit of space. This means we have more room to develop social housing, schools, and healthcare facilities, each of which are in demand as a population continues to grow. Insects are also naturally detritivorous, meaning they consume decaying waste matter. We can use this to our advantage and potentially grow these insects on low-cost surplus supermarket produce, agricultural byproducts, and food wastes, promoting something called a circular economy, which enhances sustainability and reduces costs. Insects also produce much less greenhouse gases than traditional livestock. And research conducted by me here in Belfast shows that insects have the potential to reduce methane emissions in cattle directly, which I think is a really exciting result. Okay, so I've made it clear. They're good for the environment. But what about humans in the One Health system? Well, insects have a great nutritional profile. They show around 50% protein, which is much higher than other protein-rich sources such as soybean or chicken. They also have much higher fiber contents. Fiber deficiency is a major nutritional deficiency in modern-day diets. But also, insects, a portion of insects, can provide the consumer with up to 20 times more calcium than a glass of milk, the same amount of vitamin B12 as chicken, and greater polyunsaturated fatty acids than wild Atlantic salmon. These insects can help promote global food security, especially in impoverished areas. Last but not least, part of the One Health system, animal health. Animals play a major role in wild animal diets. Pigs, chickens, cats, and dogs all consume insects in the wild. So maybe it's time we reintroduce this into the domestic diet. For you see, animals, both pets and livestock, reap the same benefits as humans, reducing agricultural and veterinary costs. By reducing these costs, we can bring cheaper and higher quality meats on the market. But also, when fed on insects, livestock shows improved growth, improved welfare, and improved health. It's a win-win. Though insects show to improve animal growth, there's no reported changes to meat or egg texture, quality, flavor, or its nutrients, allowing for a seamless transition into sustainable agriculture. But before this transition, we need a new approach. We need to stop seeing insects as these gross, dirty, alien-like creatures, and instead see them similar to how we see shrimp or lobster. I mean, these high luxury delicacies are the insects of the sea, right? But we must act now. 2030 is often named the point of no return by climate scientists. Now, 2030 does seem like a long way away, but it's not. It will soon be here. History is yesterday, history is now, and history will be tomorrow. So when I say the word insect, now what comes to mind? I'm not saying that the next time you see a caterpillar, you should think to throw it into a stir fry. But I encourage you to be more open with this practice, for it might be the most sustainable way forwards. We're already halfway there. By 2030, it is estimated that 1 in 40 chickens will be fed insect-based diets. So the rest is up to us. It's in our hands. Next time you see an insect-based product on the shelves, don't turn your nose up at it. Humans make around 35,000 decisions a day. Let the next one be for our planet. And I propose that we start by seeing insects as a nutritional powerhouse that they are. Thank you.